So do you want to create extended videos like this? In this video, we will learn to create videos that, for example, uses a logo. This is my logo, like this. So I think that's pretty cool, and we're going to look at the new features from the Veo 3 update. I also made available the same code that I use here to generate all these videos. I've made them available in the repo, which I will share with you guys in the description, which you can download and use easily within a few clicks. So welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about the Veo 3.1 API update. So Google just released a couple of days ago a new update which basically matches Sora 2 in a lot of features. So I wouldn't say the Veo model got better in generating better videos or really sounds. It definitely did sound wise, a little bit in terms of video quality. But mostly it's features over raw outputs. So they definitely released a lot of features which we're going to look at in this video. In this video we're going to look at a few new features from the Veo 3 update, starting with the docs right here. So this explains all of the things that are within the API of the Veo 3.1 update. So we of course have the text to video generation, and what you also see is that we immediately also have the option to, for example, use the Gemini Flash model to generate an image, and from that image immediately generate a video. So you can think of ways, if you know how to create very good looking scenes or worlds, that you can immediately generate a video from that. But the more interesting ones is, for example, this reference image, which you also saw at the beginning. So you can put in your logo, but you can put in props, anything that you want, even yourself. And it will create a world, a scene, something with the stuff that you gave into it. And it's now up to 3 reference images, but I guess that will expand in the future. So and then there's also this using first and last frame. So for example, if you have a scene with a frame where somebody walks towards a door, but then you use a last frame where you see a person outside of that door into a different world. So in that sense, you could create this transition from somebody to the door and then opening that door and going into the world, and having that specified world from that scene generated in the video in the next scene. So I will not use this in the code, but this is something also interesting. Then the more interesting to me, very powerful, is this extending videos. So what you'll see here is that you can actually generate videos only up to 141 seconds long, but I think that's pretty long for what we're used to. Usually it was about 8 seconds. And this is actually quite powerful. You see an example in the docs here where they basically have one prompt with also this other scene attached to it. So first it's like an origami butterfly flying into the garden, which lands on an origami flower. But then you have the next scene, which is a fluffy white puppy which runs up to the flower. So in that sense, it already is a sort of one prompt that generates this long video. So that's quite powerful. We will look in my code on how to create that. You also saw an example of a video I generated in the beginning. Yeah, and then some other important stuff you'll find in the docs are these parameters and specifications, which are important if you are going to take over or clone some of the API examples you saw in the docs to understand what is needed. And below they also put this very useful Veo prompt guide. So this is a very useful guide which exactly tells you how you should prompt and think about your prompt. And they also, for example, explain that you can prompt based on sound. So you see here some basics. For example, it's always very good to, within your prompt, only focus on one action, because if you start really expanding with a lot of different actions, then usually the model starts to get confused very fast and it becomes a very weird video. It never really works good. So that's why every scene needs to be a very clear action, not too much going on. And then you also have the different things like style or composition, for example, camera position and motion. So maybe it's a very wide close-up shot with a certain type of lens. You can get very detailed in that sense. And then you also have this prompting for audio. So you can put in very detailed specifications for the type of sounds that you want, and it will generate those sounds for you. It works very well. Veo 3 is, from what I know, a model used for a lot of ASMR videos you'll see on social media, because they are just that good at generating video with sound. So something very interesting as well, which you can start to think of. So let's dive into the code and see how this works. So as I said in the beginning, I've made available a public repo which you can download and start using to create your own videos with, and use the features from Veo 3.1. That is this Veo 3.1 tutorial repo. And what you'll find in here are drop zones. Well, this is something we will not touch on. I already created a video about the Claude Agent SDK. That's something from Claude, a sort of copy from Claude Code. If you know that, the Claude Code is a CLI sort of editing agent. It's used for code editing, code vibing, as you know. What it does, the Claude Agent SDK, is that it basically copies this agent with all these different tools into a code environment like this, and then wherever you place it with instructions, it will then basically follow that and execute for you. So it's a very powerful implementation of an agent, and that's the best I can do right now to keep it simple and fast. We will not go into this in detail, so forget about the Claude Agent SDK. Just focus on the Veo 3.1 scripts that I'll talk about in this video, and the drop zones, I'll explain them a little bit on how they work so that you can actually use them if you download this repo. So starting off, you'll see we have these two folders which are the most important. So Veo 3 direct zone and Veo reference zone. So one is, as you would expect, for the reference images, and the other one basically has the options of generating from text to image, but then also creating extended videos. And for that, what you actually see is we have different prompts in here that tell you how you should prompt. So for the reference images, you should basically follow this sort of text file template. So you keep this prompt with double point, then put in the prompt, and also you reference these images like this, and it will take those images. You should mention whatever is here in the prompt so that the Veo 3 model knows how it should use the image. So very quickly, that's how you, for example, set up prompt. You also see like, hey, this is for a basic video prompt, and this is for a video prompt that you want to extend. So it's just the first prompt, then you have the second prompt, and you have to use this extend 1, extend 2, and then the prompt behind it for it to use. So what do you do with this prompt? For example, if you have this prompt, what would you do then? So you would take a prompt like this, you generated it, and then you would put it into a zone like this. So once you move it like this, the video would then be generated. So that seems really vague right now. I understand that. So I will show you a personal example right now from my personal code. So moving this back. So what you see down here is my personal copy of these scripts and these drop zones. So how this works, and what you'll see and find in the repo that you can download, is that we have this drop zone watcher. So this is a script that uses the Claude Agent SDK, and it basically watches over these folders that I just mentioned. For me, it's, for example, this folder, and it will watch for a text file getting put into the folder, which it then takes in to then generate a video from. And to give an example of how that would work is what you'll see here is, for example, let's start up. This is actually a different repo, so let me, we actually already have it running here. So what you'll see is, let me just close this. is I would start up the script like this. So I'm in the folder, then starting the Python script. It started, as you can see, it watches over the different folders. And let's just take one example. So let's say, let's recreate, let's see. Yeah, let's do something like this. So let me just copy this prompt. Let me just paste it in here like this. And then we would go to any of those zones where we were. In this case, let's put it in this direct zone like this. We put it in, and then you'll see file created. So it actually recognized, hey, this prompt is here right now. It starts processing, and right now what it does is it basically executes the code that will generate the Veo video. So now you understand a little bit of what this repo does, and very quickly how those drop zones work. I will get into a little bit more detail in the end of this video, but now let's really talk about the API update and how you should use it. So while this is running, let's look at the scripts first before I go a little bit into the technicalities of this API. So what you'll see is in this repo that I made available is these, you'll find these scripts. So this is, for example, one script. And in here you see the code that you also saw within the API docs. So we specify the model, we specify the aspect ratio. So it can either be straight or it can be horizontal. Those are the two aspect ratios. And you can, of course, also change the resolution from 720p to, I believe, 1080p. So these videos tend to take about 2 to 3 minutes of a generation time. So you also see this down here. So the script is still running. It's set as a last image I'll execute. So it's currently generating the video for me. And in here we have the different things like or the setting of the API key, the client, and then the creation of the video. And basically this script has the options also, for example, the extend video option in here. And this is, for example, a script that gets executed once the prompt is dropped in a drop zone. And that drop zone watcher script is the one that watches over the drop zone and then executes one of these scripts. So the agent in there executes this script. That's the most simple. I will put it like today. So now let's actually get to the more technicalities of what you should look out for if you want to use the Veo 3 API and create something yourself, except for using this. In the end, we'll go a little bit more deeper into what you can do with this repo. But for now, let's see what you actually have with the API. So starting off, we are going to look at video objects. So let me search for them, object, and that's here. So a video generation basically is a long running task, and it returns an operation object. So once we go into this example, so after starting the job, you get an operation object. Okay. So so what this operation object does, we get also this operation name, which you'll see here, and you can use this to track progress. Then once you are done with once the video generation is done, then you actually want to download, of course, the video. And what you do is you use the same operation object to get the generated video. Now, the second thing that I want you to look out for is the aspect ratio. So as I said, we have the widescreen and then we have the portrait. And this is what you want to set. So let's see what we can actually do in here. So here you see the model features, which we can also set. So we have 720p, 1080p. That's only for 8-second lengths, 8-second lengths, unfortunately. So another important thing that I want to mention is for the reference images. So what you'll see here is that we basically have the images which you set through this image is, but then very important is this reference type needs to be asset. This needs to be followed, and you then also include it like you see here. So the reference image is like this. So that's very important to follow these assets. Let's see if they actually also mention this somewhere else. No, it doesn't seem like it. So that's very important. Yeah, and then the final thing that I wanted to show you guys is the extended video generation. So very important here is that you use the same generated video from the Veo API. How do we do this? We do this by using the video object. So you won't see it in here, but when we go back and we type in object, then this is basically how we take the just generated video and use it again to generate another video, and we'll look at that in the code. So in the code, what you'll see is that we have this video object which we will use to extend our videos with. So let's go to the script. Let's search for the video object. Yes, and here we can see generate video from the prompt. Result is generate video. Then return video object is true. All right. So the video object, what you'll see is used in here. So we have this function, which is the extend videos. And what you'll see here is that we use the generate videos function, and then we actually have this video object here. And this video object is reused from the first video generation. So if we go up a bit, then you'll see that, for example, we have this first generate video function, and this one isn't using the video object in this sense. We get a video object from the first generation, and then we reuse that object to extend the video in the function that you just saw. So I understand if this seems a little bit confusing, but you can use, of course, AI and the documentations to have it work for you and do a lot of the work in this sense. So we just covered all the updates from the API. Let's now go to the final bit of this video, and that's actually the GitHub repo and how you can use just within a few clicks the new Veo 3.1 API, and yeah, see what you can do with this repo that I've made available. So going over, what you'll see is that apart from the drop zones, which I just showed you how those work, is that we actually also have this character factory. So that is basically this sort of script, and this also makes use of that agent that I talked about in the beginning. And what it does, it has this file which you can configure with your own characters. So if you want to create consistent characters, something that you'll use in every video, and you can think of whatever it is, and it of course has different things. So different face model, for example, different audio attitude, maybe different signature props, whatever it is, you can put that in here, and you'll see some examples. And then you can call this prompt sort of factory, this prompt factory agent, to then create a prompt with that character or with that style. And that it makes it very easy to constantly create new videos, new prompts that use your character consistently and create new videos with that character. And the system prompt basically is something that I created from the docs from Veo 3.1. So I just scraped the tips from the documentation on how you should prompt, and I try to put it in this system prompt, which then uses that to combine with the character specifics, create a very concise prompt for you that will create a very good working scene. And how that would look like is that you would call this the following way. So this is for my personal project, but I have this ASMR character, which is not really a character, it's more sort of setting for ASMR videos. And I have my own settings for that. And I would then, again, with Python, call the script, but then you have to put in this, for example, this name. And for me, I have put in ASMR. So if I hit enter, it would then start running with the settings of ASMR. So you see ASMR style with satisfying sounds. All right. And now I can start thinking or asking about a prompt. So if we would think of a very general prompt, let's say a matcha cake getting cut with a shiny knife. All right, so now it's going to start thinking within a team, and also takes the system prompt and starts forming this prompt, which is then this close-up shot of a very vibrant green matcha cake with delicate layers getting cut. So hopefully this works very well. So let's see if we put this in. So let's then create a text file. So let's just do something. So let's say test.text, put in the prompt, then go to one of those drop zones that we saw in the beginning. So let's put it in here. And now you'll see that within the other drop zone, it already started the generation process, because it recognized like, hey, this new test.text is dropped in my zone. And you'll see here we have the video created. So the text got archived within the archive folder automatically, and then we have this video being generated with this prompt here as well that we used for it. So now let's see if we actually got something good out of it. And I would say that's a great start. So it already is a little bit satisfying. You hear those sounds. You saw some smoke, the knife cutting realistically through the cake. So in that sense, it worked pretty well. So that's it for this video. I hope that you like it. Again, this repo and all the code is available on GitHub. And you can easily start using this prompt factory with the best practices from Veo. And then also the new features. Edit the code to whatever you want to do with it. And yeah, hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next one.